let me introduce you to an internet personality called Ranveer Allahabadia. He has a popular YouTube channel called Beer Biceps and he hosts a podcast called The Ranveer Show. It's a show that delivers gems like these.
सुन ले कुछ मत बोलना. Look, my hands are here. He showed like this. My hands are here. Look here. So he said, here, like this. Then he did like this. Then he produced one Rudra. And he said, ये मैंने. Then he said, ये कहाँ से आया?
At that moment, there's a flash of lightning in the cremation ground. And he sees to his absolute shocking amazement that there is the Chakreshwara, the Aghori is not there, it is Shiva who is sitting. Full jata there, and there are snakes around him in his head, and there is a Trishula, and there is Parvati sitting next to him. And he sees that and he faints.
First doubt was that it's a bear, but no, it was standing like a human being. Babaji told me later on that it was an yeti. He said, this yeti, he said they are good people. They are not what people think and fear. He brought a herbal medicine and stuffed it into your mouth. Otherwise, you would have died.
देखिए पहली चीज सेलिबेसी का सबसे बड़ा फायदा क्या है आपका फोकस बहुत अमेजिंग हो जाता है एंड इफ यू कैन एक्चुअली सेव योर सीमन एंड स्टार्ट फ्लोइंग अपवर्ड्स अकॉर्डिंग टू आयुर्वेदा स्टार्ट नरिशिंग योर ब्रेन सेल्स इन सच अ वे दैट यू बिल्ड no dietary amulet can do it, and plus you also build uncommon intelligence and photographic memory.
When you're talking about these different lokas, they have to be different planets, they have to be in different locations across the universe. That automatically makes the denizens of these planets aliens. A lot of these divine beings that we're talking about, right, the devas, who have these outer world technology, they have a much more scientifically advanced civilization, right? They have access to these divine weapons that are like our WMDs. They have spaceships, they travel to different lokas in those spaceships.
Are you feeling sad? Do you want something amusing in your life? Do you want to be really entertained? Then go to the comment section in any of his videos. Ranveer, क्या yeti को hair loss होता है? Ask her to meditate and feel spiritual energy and she will not feel hungry. Ranveer, क्या yeti भी गाली देते हैं? Ranveer be like, क्या कभी येटी भी पॉलिटिक्स ज्वाइन कर सकता है? मैं इमोशनल हो गया था. फिर लास्ट में एलियन का एक्सप्रेशन लॉल 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 लॉल. All of his podcasts, Ranveer actually comes off as a curious metro-sexy man who is just there to gather all the information that his guests are pouring into his vastly empty head. He drinks in all this knowledge and processes it. He really processes it because you can actually see him doing it, like you know, methi in a mixer grinder, that sort of processing. In short, this is what Ranveer does in the Ranveer Show. He calls guests which have many controversial things to say. Then he provides an easy platform where, while his guests say all the controversial things that they have to say, Ranveer does this. He rarely ever challenges their beliefs with simple logic, critical thinking, or common sense. I mean, yeah, though he never uses those. Ranveer just lets his guests have a free run and he's like, Arey, your podcast only. Come, go on. Say what you must. I will just, listen, I guess. And sometimes he adds some things also.
What do you think the intelligence of a cobra is? Is it beyond what we know?
The cobras that we have today are not that intelligent as their forefathers who were around. Now this is controversial. If I say this, the biologist will say this is not true.
I think the podcast which kind of force you to kind of rethink history and rethink the way the world works are the most fun thought experiments. And that's what the listeners listen into the Ranveer Show for.
Oh my god.
If you want, then I will make a hole for you.
Yes, sir. My god. For the audio listeners, Rudraksh got created out of thin air.
So seeing this behavior, the government of India thought, guys, look, he just listens to whatever people say. He never cross questions them. He is like a young Akshay Kumar, but on YouTube. Look, he even praises Hitler. Like, wow, that is exactly the format for us. Why don't we use it? And then this happened.
Why are you doing this podcast today?
I have no idea.
You know, Vikings would always invade with the women as well.
Okay, all right.
We need to be Vikings now.
You notice I'm not disputing it. So,
Why are you doing this podcast?
I'm doing this podcast, one, because I like you.
Very easy to talk to. You're such an easygoing guy.
Why should I be easy?
I mean,
Why do you think I would be difficult?
No,
Let's look for seeing you as the most successful YouTuber in the country,
Thank-
if not the world.
thank you. Or the first YouTuber switches to politics and gets mentored by Piyush Goyal to
That
like.
is an interesting
country.
proposition. You got me there. So let's go for Mr. Allahabadia joining politics soon.
Listen, I've been in the acting business. I know a hustler when I see one. Huh.
Beer Biceps is doing a series of podcasts with the ministers of this current government. And this is not exactly an independent exercise. The government is supporting this series through something called MyGov India. MyGov is the Government of India's citizen engagement platform. It's a part of the Digital India Corporation, a Section 8 company under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Meaning, it's run using taxpayer money. Okay, there's this one report which says that there was no real money exchange here. They were not technically paid, but the government did pay for their travel, lodging, and food. So nice of them. I mean, us. I guess the taxpayer, because it's so nice of us to provide Ranveer with travel, lodging, and food. You're welcome, Ranveer. We know that the organization, MyGov, organizing this was funded by us. Which means we get to talk about it, we get to criticize it with absolute abandon. That is what entitled citizens are supposed to do. I am an entitled citizen, so that is exactly what I'm going to do. Anyway, long story short, Ranveer Allahabadia got access to ministers of the government of India. He sat down with them to have a chat where they get to say things, and Ranveer, yeah, you know what he does.
I was very bad at sports. Always bad at sports. Any sort.
That's why we do so many podcasts today to make up for that void on the inside.
Yeah, he does fist pumps, I guess. You know what this is? This is government propaganda. But nice. You know, it has a feel-good vibe to it. You know, it's fluffy, it's cuddly, it's cute. And it's all because young folks out there today, they are all about the good vibes and the cute things and the nice things. This is propaganda disguised as fluff. It's Fluffoganda.
Fluffoganda. It's so fun. It's so bright. Sweet as candy. But it's not right. Behind the chair, real facts go to hide. Beneath the sparkles, reality just dies. Fluffoganda. It's more than just pure hype. Underneath all the fluff, ooh, the propaganda is so ripe. The smiles can be so blinding, but be aware, it's truth they are redefining. It's fluffoganda. It's so fluffy. It's so cute. It's Fluffoganda. Oh my god, so cute. It's very cute. Super cute Fluffoganda. Very cute it is.
Okay, now that all the snarky mean things are out of my system, let's get down to business. Why are you here? Why are you watching this video? You might have so many questions. And why is this video so long? We will come to that. I'm trying to do a series of videos where I'm going to watch all of the TRS show political podcasts, and then I'm going to critique it. I'm going to dissect it piece by piece and tell you what it's all about. because I think it's time for you to understand what Fluffoganda looks like. And I'm going to tell you how Fluffoganda works and why you need to start thinking about it critically. Critical thinking right now, because it is going to get worse, friends. It is. So my intention here is to not make fun of Ranveer. I think I already did that a little bit. No, the intention here is to tell you how to not do interviews, especially when you're interviewing people who are in charge of taking decisions that affect our lives on a daily basis. So welcome to the part 1 of this series called Ranveer Does Fluffoganda. Let's go. Right, so Piyush Goyal sat down with Ranveer to have a chat. And right at the beginning of the podcast, Ranveer told us what to expect.
My intention with political podcasts is to make it unpolitical, is to talk about development, is to talk about the future of India, and most importantly, it's to talk about the human behind the cabinet minister.
1 minute 30 seconds into the video, and we have so much to unpack already. Ranveer, thank you so much. That's why the video is so long. You know what he said? Making politics unpolitical. Yeah, that's kind of garbage. It's not. It just doesn't make sense. But then to make a statement like this, you need to understand what politics is. I don't know if he does, but I will tell you what it is. In crude words, politics is how human beings run societies or countries through debates and discussion. It is about making rules and decisions for a group of people. It can be a society, a state, a country, colony, a company, or just a bunch of employees. You name it, politics is everywhere. It's in my shirts, it's in my pants, it's in my... I mean, whenever there is a group of human beings with a particular task to accomplish, there is politics. Because for that task to happen, you need to make rules. You need all those human beings to behave in a certain way and do certain things. That is what politics is. It is setting those rules and making sure that these group of people behave in a certain way, which will make them achieve that task. There is no way you can remove politics and make it unpolitical, because human beings are intrinsically social animals and that's how we get shit done. There is a phrase that was popularized by feminists in the 1960s. The personal is political. It was first used to convince people that the personal problems of women, like childbirth and sex, are not just personal problems. The only way to bring about change in those problems is to make it a political issue, and then for the society to intervene and deal with it as a political issue. In short, if we don't look at personal problems with a larger political lens, we will not be able to change it, because politics is the only way to change a lot of things. Remember, rules are what politics is all about, and to change those rules, we need to make it political. You know what, guys? I think I am maybe misunderstanding Ranveer. You know, maybe he has some larger context in mind, right? Okay, I'm going to try and read between the lines, okay? Ranveer is maybe easing his audience into consuming his content which features a politician. I'm very aware that a lot of people today run away from the P word as if it's like a burning dumpster fire, I guess. They're like, oh my god, stop with the politics and let me be apolitical now. I mean, it's also toxic and it's affecting my mental health. Oh my god, please stop. Hello! Ranveer is talking to those people. Those are the people who don't understand politics and also don't understand mental health probably, because they just keep throwing this word around every time they feel uncomfortable. And I get it, okay? I get it. I'm not dissing people who have mental health problems. I do too. What Ranveer has probably come to understand as politics is toxic screaming matches on TV news and also social media trolling, which we are all so familiar with. Something like this.
ड्रग दो ड्रग दो ड्रग दो ड्रग दो ड्रग दो मुझे ड्रग दो मुझे ड्रग्स दो वो कहती है मुझे ड्रग दो मेरे लिए गांजा लाओ चरस लाओ एमडीएमए लाओ एक्सक्यूसी लाओ.
And honestly, I don't blame him. I mean, he's consuming the same shit that we all are consuming, and he just probably doesn't want to engage with it. I mean, he doesn't probably understand it, so why engage with it at all? If I didn't have my public policy background, then probably I would also be running away from politics like he is and like his audiences. I wouldn't understand how the government works like I do right now, and I understand it because I've worked closely with government. Otherwise, from the outside, politics is this. I mean, there is nothing else to it. I wouldn't be able to see beyond the fluffoganda that is being payload on me by my favorite content creator. It is this type of audience that Ranveer is trying to address. These are not fence sitters, because to be a fence sitter, you need to know that there is a fence to begin with. It's not people who aren't taking sides. These are people who don't know there are sides. They just don't know what the 2, 3, 4, 5 sides are. In a way, he's bringing in a new audience into this wonderful world of politics. And I thank him for that. Genuinely. But his podcast is like kindergarten. You know, if you have clicked on this video because you're curious to know what I say about beer biceps and, maybe the thumbnail is great and stayed till now, yeah, there's still a lot left. Then, welcome to primary school. Here, we burn leaves with magnifying glasses. We make loud noises when the teacher isn't around. And we ask extremely annoying and basic questions until the teacher gets mad and tells us to stand out in the sun. And we occasionally shit our pants. I mean, we used to shit our pants more during kindergarten. It has gone down a little bit, but we still shit our pants. Welcome to primary school. Now that you're here, you need to understand that it is possible to objectively look at politics. It is a way to get shit done. It is a way to set rules. How you do that is what politics concerns itself with. And to do all of that, you need power. Politics is also about getting power for yourself so that you can get shit done. You will always have multiple people fighting for power because they get to set the rules, and that is quite a good position to be in. But it doesn't have to be like two pigs rolling around in the mud all the time. It can be a polite dialogue which is full of uncomfortable questions which you should get answers for. The questions are being asked by you, the powerless, to them, the powerful. That is what politics is. That is what it is supposed to be. So instead of being apolitical or making politics unpolitical, as Ranveer puts it, you can engage with politics in a healthy way by understanding its real importance and why it matters to you. Right, so now you know why the duration of this video is this. I have made that joke entirely too many times now, I think. I think you know by now, so let's not do that again. So, as we continue this video essay, let me tell you this. We are going to be very objective about this interview. We are going to be very nice about it. We are going to be...
They also, when I recount that Mr. Modi is the first Prime Minister who thought of our sisters, our mothers, our daughters not having a toilet to go to. Half the country didn't have toilets until 2014.
Yep.
Now, so many governments came and went. Nobody thought about a simple thing like a toilet.
Okay, Modi is the first Prime Minister to think of toilets. Okay, what the actual Guys, you can play this video in 1.5x. This is a trick that I learned from Sir Ranveer Allahabadia, who keeps saying this, like you can go to the settings and play the video in 1.5x. I guess that's very useful because great content creator guy, so I'm just stealing his tricks now. Yeah, you can do that too. Background लगा दे थोड़ा सा. आई, क्या बात है. चलो चैप्टर 2 शुरू करते हैं. चैप्टर 2 guys, chapter 2. Okay, so Ranveer gets a bit of a pass here because he's still in political kindergarten, as I pointed out earlier. But the other guy, Piyush Goyal, he does not get a pass. He has already passed out from university, and he still makes sentences like, Modi is the first prime minister to think of toilets. Yeah, that's not true. That's just false. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which aims to build toilets for citizens, is a revamped version of Nirmal Bharat Abhiyan that was run by the Manmohan Singh government, previous government. And Nirmal Bharat Abhiyan was a revamped version of the Total Sanitation Campaign, which was run by the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, which was a government before that. And before that, there were many others like that. Different versions, but the objective was more or less the same. Build toilets and don't let people shit out in the open. Open defecation free India. In fact, the first formal sanitation program was launched all the way back in 1954. It's literally in the guidelines for Swachh Bharat mission. The document also talks about the International Decade for Drinking Water and Sanitation, which lasted a decade. There is Central Rural Sanitation Program from 1986, then Total Sanitation Campaign in 1999. It's like launching a bottle of water and then just changing the tags again and again and making maybe the water bottle more efficient, cheaper. It can be like, you are promoting it better, marketing strategy अच्छा है. वो label पे they put in like, oh, we have sourced this from an actual Himalayan stream or whatever. And yeah, that's how you do it. And that's what has been happening with the open defecation free campaigns or toilet building campaigns ever since India got independence. So you see, Narendra Modi is not the first prime minister to think of toilets. I can't believe I have to say this. So when I hear a sentence like the one that Piyush Goyal made, my immediate instinct is to ask, really? That doesn't sound right. Surely we were building toilets before Modi came into the picture too, right? But for Ranveer, it's just soaking in all the information and living with it because he does not challenge this very obvious falsehood. He just moves on. Just sheepishly moves on. This happens a bunch of times, by the way. Take, for instance, this part about Hindi versus English-speaking people.
Try to think of it. How many people in India really speak English? It's a very small population which is conversant with English. But if I remember the last census figures, whereas English was the natural language for nearly 70% people, English was not even in double digits.
So according to the 2011 census, about 57% of the population speaks Hindi. It is considered the most spoken first and second language in India. I say considered because Hindi has many dialects like Maithili, Bhojpuri, Awadhi, etc., which are all included in the umbrella term of Hindi. English, on the other hand, is the number 2 most spoken second language. A total of 10% of the population can speak English. Mind you, these are figures from the 2011 census, which is 13 years ago as of shooting this. This percentage, especially for English, has most definitely drastically changed in the last decade. Hell, even Ranveer's podcast itself is in English and it is reaching a massive Indian audience. You might say I'm nitpicking here. I mean, Piyush Goyal must have just made off the top of his head this comment and said 70%. It happens. Can't always keep facts in your head, right? Ranveer's audience also gets this clearly. They will immediately go and check on Wikipedia or read a news article or go to the census website and download a table in Excel and run complex formulas or what the hell is that? I can't understand anything. Okay, let's stick to the news article. The audience simply doesn't do that. In fact, the audience watching this video might not even do that. I'm putting sources in this video, but how many of you would actually go and actually check it? I mean, did you even check when I gave this source and whether that was correct or not? I think you should go check again. You see, you will trust me. You will assume that I have read up on all these sources and all the things that they say. And now I'm telling you about it. There is trust between you and me. So, similarly, there must be trust between Ranveer and his audience as well. So the interview audience will take Piyush Goyal's statement, this statement or any other, and run with it. As an interviewer, when Goyal says things like these, he should be interrupted or given a chance to explain it a bit more and add context maybe. Again, this is not a journalistic exercise that Ranveer is doing, I know. But at the same time, when you are actually interviewing someone, you need to do certain things which are just basic logic, common sense things and critical thinking. But we don't do that on the Ranveer show, friends. We don't care about the background and context of the guest also. We are just here to watch two Don Bosco boys bond with each other and bro it out.
You're a lot of fun to talk to as well. Like, I'm able to flow with you. I don't know whether it's a Bombay Connect. I think it's just two Bosco boys like connecting a little bit. So,
Speaking of Don Bosco, it's time for you to take a dive into Piyush Goyal's life. Piyush Goyal, he's the son of Ved Prakash Goyal. VP Goyal was the Union Minister of Shipping in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government and the treasurer of the Bharatiya Janata Party for at least 20 years, according to one source. VP Goyal has been described as an industrialist by profession in one of his bios. Piyush Goyal's mother, Chandrakanta Goyal, was elected thrice to the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly from Mumbai. At the tender age of 20, Piyush became associated with the BJP. He was the national executive member of the Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha and national campaign in charge of the Lok Sabha elections in 1991. Suffice to say, his entry into BJP and the rise to these positions had nothing to do with the fact that his parents were already at an influential position within the party. Absolutely nothing to do with it. It is all merit. Piyush Goyal does have some impressive personal achievement. He was an All India second rank holder chartered accountant and did law from Mumbai University. He was a well-known investment banker. He also served on the board of the State Bank of India and Bank of Baroda, two very big banks. Goyal has been with the BJP for 35 years now. He was made national treasurer of the party. He was a member of the manifesto and publicity committees. He also headed the BJP's Information Communication Campaign Committee for the Indian general elections in 2014. He is currently the Minister of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Textiles. Before this, he has also held portfolios for the Minister of Railways, Finance, Corporate Affairs, Coal, Power, New and Renewable Energy, and Mines. Okay, so as I was going through his bio and his party website, I came upon this sentence. As Minister of Railways, India achieved the best ever safety record of 0 passenger deaths in rail accidents. I was like, that sounds like a tall claim. Might as well check it. So, I tried to find out where this came from. It's on his Wikipedia, which says, Indian Railways established a 0 accident railway system and have seen no accidents for the past 22 months. Right beside that, there is a source and the words verification needed. So I went to the source. In this article, it says that Piyush Goyal himself made this claim in Parliament in Rajya Sabha while answering a question. Here, Goyal is quoted as saying The last passenger death due to a railway accident happened on 22nd March 2019. For the nearly 22 months, we have not had a single passenger death due to train accident. This is an article from February 2021. So he's referring to a 22-month period before that. Now the question is, were there any accidents that happened between March 2019 and February 2021? Yes, and here is a big one. In May 2020, 16 migrant citizens were mowed down by an empty freight train in Aurangabad district because they were sleeping on the train tracks. They thought that trains were not running because of the pandemic. Yes, this was also pandemic time. Lots of trains were just cancelled. Again, this accident happened in May 2020. So Piyush Goyal's claim is false? Technically, no. His bio says India achieved the best ever safety record of 0 passenger deaths. These poor fellows sleeping on the tracks were not passengers. You see where I'm going with this? So technically what he claims is true, but it's not like nobody died due to train accidents and there were no accidents during these 22 months. Here's another one that happened in November 2019. 2 trains collided and 18 passengers were injured. Not dead, injured. So Piyush Goyal's claim is still technically correct. Aren't words in sentences just magical sometimes? You see, people like Piyush Goyal are extremely smart people who know how to use these magical words to their advantage. Nobody will really call them out for that one sentence in their bio on the BJP website. And even if they did, he can turn around and say, yeah, so correct only. No passengers died in those 22 months. People died and some passengers got injured, but passengers did not die in 22 months. Smart. Our friend Ranveer, on the other hand, would never challenge something like this. On top of this, he also seemed to casually ignore the entire context of who Piyush Goyal is and where he comes from, especially when he asked this.
I was asking you that question from the perspective of people my age wanting to get into politics and then fearing the shark pool. So tell us a little bit about the first steps in that shark.
Everybody who desires to serve in public life will have a little bit of trepidation, some fears, some concerns. And I tell you, it's the honest people who are always more scared. It's not the dishonest who's worried. It's the honest who's worried.
Oh, come on, dude. His dad was in politics. So was his mom. How are you just like,
Two, what is the basic skill set you actually need? Like there has to be some sort of basic potential energy there. Like
I think, first of all, when it comes to you, I think your honesty shows. And you have a smile which is infectious. And in politics, both are very important.
really,
Very important.
honesty and smile. Heard having family members in the party controlling the money as a treasurer for 20 years. Does that also help?
And I'm finding this increasingly becoming an area of choice for many youngsters. At the same time, continue your profession.
Okay.
Delve in politics, learn the ropes, but continue your professional career so that politics is not the means to an end. Because I spent 30 years in the business world and am today self-sufficient.
Okay, yes, this I agree with. There is a need to be self-sufficient, and it helps if your parents are in politics and your dad is, like Minister of Shipping. But yeah, you do need to be self-sufficient when you get into politics. Right, so if you watch this portion of the interview after I give you this context, you, as a smart viewer, would be giving amused reactions just like I did just now. Ranveer though, well, Ranveer looks like, yeah, and he's just a bobblehead on a car dashboard most of the time. Sachi? But friends, now that we are here, let me give you a quick realistic idea of how to get into politics. I mean, this is just an excuse, right? This entire video is just an excuse to tell you more about politics and what happens there. So here's what you need to do. Number 1, access. He has access to my studio. His sound, his voice has access to my studio. Now you know why I have to take so many cuts. Soundproofing nahi hai, guys. Soundproofing का पैसा नहीं है मेरे पास. Number 1, access. You need access to a political party, and within the party, you need access to leaders who will help you advance the ranks. Number 2, money. Yeah, being in politics, you need money. At least in the early days. Politics will not give you any money when you start out. So you need to have an alternate profession where you are getting the money. The political stuff is a side gig that you do essentially. Number 3, skills. हाँ बेच लो, हम तो रुके हुए. Number 3, skills. You need communication skills. You need to be good with people, and you need to be quick on your feet because the world you entered is about that quick thinking and reactive thinking. Number 4, identity. Let's get real. In India, it matters what your last name is. If you come from a community that doesn't have much presence in your constituency, it's unlikely you will be very successful in politics. I'm saying unlikely, not impossible. Caste, class, haisiyat, religion, skin color, education, and all these things that form your basic identity will be judged by the people whether you like it or not. Finally, number 5, luck. You need to be at the right place at the right time because life is fucking random, guys. And you need to know when you are in the right place at the right time and take action immediately. There is nobody in the entire world who would be able to tell you what is the right time and place to do something. It is you who just instinctively needs to know this. It also helps if you're born in a political family which has a legacy to hand you one. That's luck too, by the way. But in this case, you would be lucky to be born in a family like that. So you're already in the right place at the right time. So yeah, 5th one, most important, luck. Le lo. Tu lucky hai kya? Join karo politics. Congratulations, you now have a head start. Now go fight elections, become a minister, go on Beer Biceps podcast and say whatever you want after that. You know what else? If you end up on this podcast, you can also stop Ranveer from saying shit. Seriously, like this.
I hope to talk to you for a longer chat at some point in the future. I will say something slightly spicy in the end. I won't be surprised if at some point, okay, cool. I won't say that then. I will just say thank you.
भाई मतलब ठीक है मतलब बेच दिया आई गेस बट सीरियसली एडिटिंग में काट नहीं सकते थे आई मीन व्हाट Okay, so before I dissect what just happened, let me tell you that I have not extensively covered this interview. There is a lot more that I could have gone into, like when Ranveer asked Goyal this.
Those reactions is, "Arey, sab corrupt hote hain." It's like a very common stereotype. How much do you have to face this where people make assumptions about you guys? And how true is it? Like how murky is your world? I'm asking a very raw question here.
Oh, Ranveer, my sweet summer child. You don't bother reading the news, I'm guessing? Like, ever? It's ultra murky. Let me tell you. It is ultra murky. MLAs are bought and sold all the time, like cattle. Governments collapse because some power-hungry, egotistical maniac wants power over some other power-hungry, egotistical maniac, and that gets murky. things like this happen like very regularly. So yeah, I guess you don't know. Oh, and from time to time there are murders, violence, corruption, people thrown in jail for years without filing charge sheets, things like that. Just regular stuff in the world of murky politics. Very murky. But what does Mr. Goyal have to say about this?
So when an e-commerce site, let's say, uses an algorithm and guides customers' choice towards one direction, whoever gives them the highest premium or highest commission, I think that's as wrong as is somebody else cheating the public in another way.
Yeah, okay, if I get into this now, I'll only add like 20 more minutes to this video, but I won't. Instead, I still want to talk about this.
I won't be surprised if at some point, okay, cool. I won't say that then.
Now, this is interesting and worth talking about. Naughty Ranveer wants to say something spicy, which can create clickable, snackable content. Like, ooh, click milega, content milega. So he asked for permission, like a nice little boy from Piyush Goyal. So he did what every other interviewer would do. He asked for permission from Mr. Piyush Goyal. And Sir Goyal said, nope, shut the fuck up. And he did. He just did. And they kept it. Ask yourself, why did he do that? I mean, he can say spicy stuff, right? I mean, it's his show. And according to them, they haven't really been paid for this. Just travel, lodging and food. And plus, he says random spicy things all the time, right? So, what changed? Why wouldn't he push? Why did he just let go? Of course, one simple answer I already gave you at the beginning. This is a government-supported exercise. It's not exactly about the money, it's about getting access. And Ranveer doesn't want to lose it. If he asks spicy things that make those tender-hearted ministers uncomfortable, then he loses access for any future minister that he can interview potentially. This behavior is great for everyone involved. If Ranveer does not ask difficult questions or challenge them in any way, even the audience will be in their comfort zone and won't really give a shit. But this points to a larger, much bigger problem. This is embarrassing. Or I would think it's embarrassing. I don't know what he feels. I'm guessing he doesn't feel embarrassed. But when I saw this, I was like, why didn't anyone edit this out? Why was this just kept in the podcast even when it makes Ranveer look like an idiot? That is $1 million question. The simple and the most obvious explanation is that the editor didn't really care and nobody really thought about it and just let it go. Because Ranveer bada cute lag raha hai and the frame and all is nice, no? And yeah, sound quality is nice, mic is nice, everything is great. And what is happening? But it's okay. Chalta hai, chalne do. But the other more spicy explanation can be this. They wanted people to see this. They were establishing a power dynamic between two people, the host and the guest. The guest is more powerful than the host, and this proves it. It's subtle, but it does get the message across. What's more, it sets the tone for other podcasts. This is the first in the series of political interview he did. So it kind of sets the tone for future podcasts like this with other ministers. It's like the makers of this show were telling everyone, yeah, so Ranveer, he can be shut down whenever the guest wants. He can just be shut down, okay? You can just do this like Neo from Matrix and khatam. He can't do jack about it. Now go nuts. Again, you might say I'm nitpicking, but honestly, this is the most crucial moment for me in the entire interview. What this signifies is the power dynamic at play here, and that is completely wrong. People who have grown up in India will know that we have a very different relationship with authority here. We have this weird habit to give it too much credit. In school, you are supposed to listen to your teacher all the time, even when they are doing stupid shit. When you are young, you have no free will because your parents control you utterly and completely. Which career do you take? Who do you marry? Where do you stay? Where do you go next? If you challenge or question any of these, you will get punished. Stand out in the sun. Your phone will go away for a week, or whatever else punishment modern parents do. मुझे तो मार पड़ती थी कभी कभी. And then when you grow up and actually become an adult, that authority feeling is transferred to your bosses and the government. They call it My Baap Sarkar for a reason. The Sarkar is a replacement of your parents as authority figures. You are supposed to bow down before them and do whatever they tell you to do, because you don't know any better. They do know better. In reality, it should be the other way around. In a democracy, the citizen should be the my baap. The government and its functionaries should be the ones to bow before us. We pay their salaries using tax money. So we are the bosses and they are the employees. It's as simple as that. But look at what Beer Biceps podcast is trying to tell you. It's telling you, no. They are the bosses. We are their servants and they can shut us up whenever and wherever they want. And we shall obey. Pathetic. That's just sad. You know what this is called? Bhakti. Ranveer Allahabadia is worshipping Piyush Goyal here. He is a deity that cannot be questioned, challenged, or made uncomfortable in any way possible. Maybe he's a demigod because the ultimate god is Adarniya Shri. I just want to quote what Baba Saheb Ambedkar said about Bhakti way back in 1949. He said, "We must observe the caution which John Stuart Mill has given to all who are interested in the maintenance of democracy, namely, not to lay their liberties at the feet of even a great man, or to trust him with power which enables him to subvert their institutions. There is nothing wrong in being grateful to great men who have rendered lifelong services to the country, but there are limits to gratefulness. This caution is far more necessary in case of India. For in India, bhakti or hero worship plays a part in its politics. Bhakti in religion may be a road to salvation of the soul, but in politics, bhakti is a sure road to degradation and to eventual dictatorship." Just think about what he said. And while you do that, I will get back to work and start working on the next video. Yeah, oh my god. So yeah, see you in the next, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Who knows? I subscribe to this channel if you liked what you just saw. It just like it, man, and you'll get a notification when the next one drops.